Good evening and welcome to February 9th, 2022 Board of Education meeting. At this time, I would like Dwan Kraft to lead us in the invocation.
Thank you. On behalf of myself and the board, I would like to offer sincere condolences and sympathy to Matt Mullins, our maintenance director, on the death of his father, Jerry Mullins, and to Ann Mackin, our human resource director, on the death of her mother, Catherine Godlewski. And I want to just share something with you. Parents are not around forever. Call them, visit them, take their grandchildren to see them, laugh with them, hug them, let them speak and tell you the same old stories over and over again. Take their favorite foods and sweets, treat them with respect, patience, and plenty of love, because tomorrow might be too late. So if you live with your parents, hug them tonight and tell them you love them. And if you're an adult and you have that opportunity to call your parents, the same goes. So if we could have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kraft. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. John Parkman, Currituck County Middle School principal, to come forward, and his students are going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our school spotlight is Mr. John Parkman and his students, and they'll be sharing some important news.
Good evening, everybody. I would first like to thank everybody for the opportunity for us to showcase Currituck County Middle School. And today we have some members of FFA with us and the chess club. And the sponsors are Mr. Chris Pinto, who sponsors the chess club, and Lauren Cartwright, who sponsors the FFA. So I'm going to have Lauren come up first.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate that. I teach agriculture to 6th, 7th, and 8th graders at Currituck County Middle School. This semester and this school year, we've really focused on beautifying the courtyard and using that space to produce edible plants. So our students have been learning how to grow their own food and cook their own food and things like that. So we've really enjoyed that. I have my group of a few of my FFA students with me today, and they're going to come up and speak with y'all. They are wearing jackets that were purchased with funds from the Currituck Education Foundation. So I just want to thank you all for those that were a part of that. Kendall, would you like to start us off?
My name is Kendall Young. I'm a sixth grade student at Currituck County Middle School and a member of FFA. My favorite part of the agriculture program is learning how to make the world a better place.
Emily Jo?
My name is Emily Jo Harris, and I am an 8th grade student at Currituck County Middle School and a member of the FFA. My favorite part of the agriculture program is learning about how the food we eat is made, processed, and makes it to our tables.
Gavin Newbern?
Good afternoon. My name is Gavin Newbern, and I'm in the 8th grade at Currituck County Middle School. And coming from a farming family, my favorite thing about FFA is learning about agriculture.
James Morris?
Hi, my name is James Morris. I'm an 8th grade student at Currituck County Middle School. I'm a member of the FFA, and I'd have to say my favorite thing about FFA is it's a hands-on learning experience, and it's really enjoyable. So.
And Kayla Cashwell?
Hi, my name is Kayla Cashwell. I am in 8th grade. I am a part of the CCMS FFA, and I would have to say my favorite part of the agricultural program would have to be the community and how each one of us builds it up to be.
Thanks so much, y'all. The students in my 7th grade class did plant you guys all a little plant, so my FFA kids are going to present you with that today. Thank you so much for having me.
James. Thank you, James.
Thank you so much, honey. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Did they give you a plastic one? Did they give you a plastic one so you don't kill it?
Are you Amy's son? Don't kill plants. Oh, you did a good job.
Geez, mine are.
Very nice.
Thank you all very much. We appreciate the plants, and we appreciate you being here tonight and sharing your experiences with FFA. What a wonderful program, and y'all are doing an excellent job. Thank you. Mr. Parkman?
And now Chris Pendo is going to talk a little bit about the chess club.
Thank you.
Great to see you all again. A few years ago, I had another very different year and a very different chess team, and we had an opportunity to come to talk about that program and all the benefits of chess. But this year, we're just getting back started again, and it's been great to have kids back in person, able to play chess and play at lunchtime, and finally have a team again and come back and start to do competitions. So I have several of my chess team members here today. This is, for them, their first year, because it's been, again, several years since we've been able to do this, but they've all had a chance to go to at least one tournament. And while we didn't bring anything like our awesome FFA did, I can promise you, if you ever come by the middle school, they'd be happy to give you a lesson and maybe a little bit of a beat down. Come down anytime you like. All right, so if my players would come up, and you can each take turns just introducing yourself and sharing a little bit about the program.
Hi, my name is Gavin Anderson, and I am in 6th grade. I am a member of the CCMS Chess Club, and my favorite part about the chess club is when I play chess, I learn how to strategize a little bit more.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Alec Van Gelder, and my favorite part of chess club is that I get to actually be able to do something that is fun for me.
Good job. Thank you, yes.
Hi, my name is Alexander Gilbert, and I am part of the CCMS chess team. And the thing I like about chess is that it helps you strategize and recognize different patterns and help improve your brain.
Yes. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Dan. I'm a part of the CCMS chess team. I am a seventh grader. My favorite part is going to tournaments.
Wonderful.
Thank you all.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Pinto, and
I'm sorry.
I
I
apologize.
try to play chess with my second grader grandson, and he beats me every time, and he's only in 2nd grade, so that's telling you how my strategizing is working. Crew, yes.
Yeah, Crew came by and he played me. He's very good.
He's good, isn't he? Yeah, I bought him a Mario's chess set for Christmas with all the Mario figures.
Right.
And of course, I think I'm going to say that was my downfall because I didn't know the different figures. Dr. Lutz, I'm sorry.
I just, Ms. Cartwright and Mr. Pinto, thank you both so much for taking extra time to give kids opportunities outside of school and create those relationships. So it's great that we're doing that in the middle school, everything we can to get our kids engaged. So I just wanted to thank you both personally.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Drive safe.
Is this an aloe plant? Aloe?
Wow.
We know how to clear a room, don't we?
They have a ball game to get
Yeah,
to.
that's
Some
right.
of them do.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
They must know I burn easily.
Yeah, that's good for so many things. Good night. Thank you, Mr. Parkman. All right, counselor appreciation. Miss Virginia Arrington, if you would come forward.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Lutz. The week of February 7th is School Counselor Appreciation Week, and so we just wanted to take a few minutes to highlight our wonderful counselors, just to give you an idea of what school counselors do. Really too many things to list, but they work with students on classroom guidance. They do small groups and individual counseling. They make referrals to other services as needed, and a plethora of things that will, I'm sure they don't get credit for. So we have Sarah Roberson at Central Elementary and Knott's Island Elementary, and Stacy Totley at Shawboro. Then we have Nicole Derby at Jarvisburg and Griggs, and Miss Stephanie Cox at Moyock Elementary. Jennifer Gazinski's at Currituck County Middle School with her friend there, Patches. And it's ironic that the counselor at Currituck Middle has a bulldog. This year, we were able to add an additional counselor at Moyock Middle. So we have Chelsea Duteau and Jennifer Hilliard working together at Moyock Middle School. And then we have Catherine Carbosi at Currituck County High, Jordan Casper at Currituck County High, Christina Mills Gregory at Currituck County High, and Kelly Greenwell. She is CTE, but she's also part of the counseling group as well. And then we have Sue Boone at JP Knapp Early College. And we just want to, here's the list of the things that they do. Again, it's not a comprehensive list of everything they do, and we really want to thank them for their service to the children and the children's families and the staff for Currituck County Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arrington, and thank you to all the school counselors for everything that you do. Public comment session. We have 4 individuals that have signed up tonight for public comment. The public comment session is a time when an individual or a group can address the board about our schools. This is not a time to speak about issues or concerns involving identifiable personnel or students. Matters of this nature should be submitted in writing to the board, and your concerns will be addressed. Individuals or groups will be called in the order in which they signed up and will be asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. We have Mr. Will Currituck that has signed up. If Mr. Currituck would come forward and state your name and your address, please.
Good evening, Ms. Rose, Mrs. Etheridge, Dr. Lutz, Mrs. Kraft, Dr. Dobney. My name's Will Currituck. I live at 213 Martin Farm Lane. And I wanted to bring to your attention, in case you weren't aware, because I know that some of your decision making is very tough. So I'm going to speak to some of the things involving mask or non-mask or optional mask. So we got all kinds of data over the 20-some months. So I won't bore you with all that to speak. But there was a couple studies that were very interesting that came out most recently from Johns Hopkins University. And if you haven't looked at those, I would ask that you do. But most importantly, I think the issue's been, how do we make masks optional and keep kids in school? And I've reviewed the toolkit, as I'm a parent of 2. I'm very concerned about it, as many. And so during the course of doing that, I started realizing that most and everything in there was a recommendation. And then I started backtracking and trying to look at it from a standpoint of whether it was legal or it isn't legal. And I'm not an attorney, so I have an opinion like everyone. But what did happen was I stumbled across Union County schools in North Carolina okay? And they have 53 schools and 40,000 students. They've been mass optional since, I believe it's when they took the vote on July 14th to be mass optional. When the mandate was lifted on the 30th, they went back to school on August 18th, and they've been mask optional ever since. And how they've done that was at first they had a big problem when Omicron ticked up, and they had basically 25% of their student body in quarantine. And that was a problem. So what they did was they handed off the responsibilities from the school staff to contract trace and quarantine, and they handed that back to the local health department. Okay. Then once they did that, they brought the kids back that were in quarantine that didn't have a positive case and didn't show any signs or symptoms. I'm going to probably run out of time. I gave Miss Yvette Jones a copy of the resolution, and I'd ask for a few more seconds. Okay, they have a joint resolution that they put forward by the Board of Commissioners and the Board of Education to end contract tracing. They're quarantining the ill. Anybody that's got a positive case, they're quarantining them. And that's how they're keeping their schools open. I gave you a copy of the resolution. They've been doing that effectively since January 19th. I spoke with one of the board members. His name is, his name is Matt Helms. Okay? I asked him how they were doing this. They got 40,000 students. They've been mass optional since July, and I'm not saying that people that feel uncomfortable or they feel, whether they're an employee or they're a parent or a student, if they feel that their decision is to wear a mask, by God, I'm not asking them not to wear a mask. What I'm asking you to do is take the mask off these children. And they have demonstrated with a couple other counties in North Carolina, I'm not going to talk about all the other data, that it can be done. And I'd ask you to please do it. And I wanted to share that with you because I know your decisions are tough. And I want to make sure you got enough information to do them with.
Thank you,
Anyhow,
Mr. Crotty.
thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, next we have Miss Jamie Miller. If Jamie would come forward. State your name and your address, please.
Yes, I'm Jamie Miller. I live at 463 Grandy Road in Grandy, North Carolina. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. I wanted to sign up for public comment just to recognize two local agencies that have generously donated to the Exceptional Children's Department this year. One is the Knights of Columbus. They are in the Outer Banks. The people in that agency fundraise all year to raise money that they donate to different organizations that they choose, and luckily the Currituck County Schools EC department is one of those. The other organization is the Outer Banks Community Foundation, specifically the Pauline Wright Endowment, and that money is specifically set aside every year for Currituck County students with special needs. So both of those organizations allow our exceptional children's teachers to apply for funds to purchase student-specific or classroom-specific items that would be needed that would typically come from out of their pocket, since most of the funds that the EC department receives goes to salary. So I just wanted to thank them tonight. We have received almost $10,000 total from both of those organizations from the applications that our EC teachers put in. So that's all.
Thank you, Jamie. You said Pauline Wright?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Dr. Wright's late wife. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And the Knights of Columbus.
Knights of Columbus
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Dare County. That's terrific.
Very generous.
All right, well, thank you very much for sharing that.
Welcome.
Okay. All right, we have Miss Jennifer Woods. If Jennifer would come forward, state your name and your address, please.
My name is Jennifer Woods. I live at 4126 Brant Court in Nags Head, and I'm here to wish you a happy CTE month. CTE month is a public awareness campaign that takes place each February to celebrate the value of CTE and the achievements and complements of the programs across the country. Currituck County Schools is celebrating CTE month in a variety of ways. We just recently had the course fair at the high school. Programs were out, clubs were out. It was an excellent night. Some of the schools are going to be participating in a door decoration contest. We have FFA week coming up pretty soon. We've had some guest speakers come in to talk to the students. We're doing some lunchtime promotion and recruitment. Students are writing thank you cards to teachers. We also have students writing thank you cards to the nursing home. We're doing that across the countywide. We're going to be sharing some articles. We have a promotional video, an infograph to our social media and websites. And then hopefully, after these two fine gentlemen compete in their state competitions, I saw a little preview of a certain competition that's coming up for, oh my gosh, that's a good one. Wait till you see this. Whew. Anyways, very excited for those programs. And another part of the program funding we receive from state and federal entities is to include fifth grade awareness. Some of the things that we're doing to promote CTE in our elementary and fifth grade classes, our construction students are helping build some airplanes that some of the students are going to be using in the fifth grade classes. We have created a packet of instructional activities for our fifth grade teachers and instructional coaches. Our eighth graders are going to start working on writing postcards to the fifth graders, telling them about CTE classes, middle school, kind of welcoming them into the middle school. We'll do some activities as the fifth graders come up to the middle school with tours and decorations and guest speakers. And then tomorrow I'm going to announce at our principals meeting that I'd love to have a elementary and middle school career dress-up day. Different than the November where it was Dress for Success. Now we're going to do the dress up as your career.
Okay, good.
Oh, wow. That sounds interesting.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Woods. Jeffrey Sodoma, if you're here, if you'd come forward and state your full name and your address, please.
Jeff Sodoma, 101, Stepside Lane, Moyoc, 27958. And I came again tonight. Please ask you to do the right thing and end the mask mandate in the schools. Currituck County, certainly you can start whatever grade you wanted to. I would suggest the lowest grades and moving up the ladder from there. The virus is becoming more endemic and we have to learn to live with it. It's no longer an epidemic. It is something that we're going to have to get used to being with. In the past 2 days, I think 5 states have decided to lift their indoor masking mandates. I believe if I read it right, Dare County schools canceled theirs yesterday. And I just wanted to read some excerpts. I know I only have 2 minutes left, but article in the Atlantic magazine that kind of summarized my thoughts on this issue, published January 26th. And basically, in the spring of 2020, everybody was recommending the various restrictions that we put in place to keep communities safe, and a lot of these were put in place in the absence of science supporting those restrictions. The unproven measures are being kept in place at this point, and it's no longer justifiable scientifically. CDC guidance is still recommending universal indoor masking of everybody over the age of 2, including staff, teachers, and all visitors in K through 12 schools, regardless of vaccination. World Health Organization guidelines recommend against masking children under age 5 because they're low risk of illness and because many children in this age group are unable to wear masks properly. Ages 6 to 11, WHO still does not recommend masks because of the impact of wearing a mask on learning and psychosocial development. I'm not a doctor of education. I don't have the I'm not a therapist and all these different things. I'm a trained lawyer, but what they're saying in this article makes a lot of sense. The long-term consequences of this practice are not well understood, in part because no one has successfully collected large-scale systematic data, and few researchers have tried. Mental and social, emotional outcomes are hard to observe and measure and can take years to manifest. Initial data that they've been getting is not reassuring. And they urge at the end of this article, imposing on millions of school kids across the country intervention that provides little discernible benefit on the grounds that we have not yet gathered solid evidence of the negative effects violates the most basic tenet of medicine, first, to do no harm. The foundation of interventions should be that they work, not that we have insufficient evidence to say whether they are harmful or not. Mandatory masking of children in school fails this test. I would really like to get our children their childhoods back. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sodoma. All right, that ends the public comment session. Thank you for everyone that has signed up tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries the approval of the agenda. Student board member reports. Albert, would you like to start us off tonight?
Of course. Thank you. I'm going to start off with Central Elementary School. February is a very busy month for Central. We're celebrating our guidance counselor, Mrs. Sarah Robertson. She is amazing and a vital part of our Eagle family. We're also grateful for our bus drivers and our bus monitors, and will be honoring them during the Love the Bus Week during February 14th. Central has been participating in the Kids Heart Challenge led by Mrs. McDonough, our PE teacher. Students are learning about heart health and raising money to protect all hearts, especially kids. Benefits made from this initiative will be used to purchase recess equipment for students. We are wrapping up the month with Read Across America and have many fun things planned. Currituck County High School. Congratulations to Andrew Sarnowski and our very own Daniel Walker for being named a finalist for the North Carolina University Park Scholarship. The selection committee will name approximately 40 award recipients for the class of 2026. Thank you to everyone that came to the Currituck County High School Course Fair. We are blessed to have the most amazing facility, staff, and students. Dr. Durham would like to send a special thank you to the faculty and staff of Currituck County High School. Members of the jazz band traveled over to East Carolina University to participate in the Eastern Region Jazz Clinic this past weekend. Both CJ East and Andrew Greenwell are eligible to audition for the North Carolina All-State Jazz Band in March. Congratulations to the Currituck County cheerleading team on the first place finish while competing in the NCCAA State Championship. Congratulations to Coach Susan Buzzard for being named the Northeastern Coastal Conference Coach of Swimming of the Year for swimming. Andrew Sarnowski was named the Northeastern Coastal Conference Swimmer of the Year from 2021 to 2022. Congratulations to Coach Mike Fisher and Currituck County High School wrestling team for winning the Northeastern Coastal Conference Wrestling Championship of 2021 and 2022. And congratulations to Brooke Zach, the two-time Women's International State Championship. Currituck County Middle School. We had our second successful pep rally last Wednesday to honor our boys and girls basketball team, wrestlers, and cheerleaders. Our Wednesday cafeteria, organized by Miss Haley Barotola, Career Expansion Coordinator, has been a phenomenal success and has been very well attended by our students. We had visits from the Coast Guard, 2 different groups from Currituck County High School, including Lieutenant Colonel Grimes, the Air Force ROTC instructor, as well as students from Currituck's nursing program and their emergency response program. Other examples include Mr. Anthony Dickinson, a local businessman, and even our very own Dana Parker, behavioral liaison. Griggs Elementary School. On January 27th, the Mallard family met for our initial interest PTO meeting. We're looking forward to a sound, cooperative working relationship with Griggs PTO this year. This Friday, we are adopting bylaws and electing board directors. We completed NC check-ins for science, reading, and math. This past week, students and staff celebrated the 100th day of school by dressing up creatively. We're looking forward to celebrating Love the Bus Month to recognize the hard work of our bus drivers. We're grateful for the church partnership with Sharon United Methodist Church. This supplied our teachers and students. The Mallards are looking forward to our Title I night event on Tuesday, March 8th, with students, families, and staff during Read Across America Week. And finally, Jarvisburg Elementary School. Jarvisburg had a busy few weeks since our last report. Staff had their annual crisis training with the Sheriff's Deputy. Thank you to Sergeant Taylor and Deputy Smith. We began February celebrating our bus drivers for Love the Bus Month and our counselor, Mrs. Derby. We appreciate all they do for our students. All NC check-ins were completed, and students and staff celebrated the 100th day of school this week.
Good evening. I'd like to start off with JP Knapp Early College. The application is now live for all rising ninth graders interested in attending JP Knapp Early College. The window closes March 4th. We will host open house for anyone interested on February 15th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Ninth graders are also taking their first COA courses this spring, so we wish them the best of luck. Knott's Island Elementary School. We have been very busy here on the island. On Monday, February 7th, we celebrated the 100th day of school with many events throughout the day. The celebration was anchored with our Be Kind banner and students providing 100 different ways to show kindness. We also celebrated National Guidance Counselor Appreciation as well as I Love the Bus. On February 16th, we have our PTA meeting scheduled at 6 p.m. We would love to have a great turnout for this meeting. Finally, we will have an upcoming Living Wax Museum by our 3rd through 5th graders, which is on February 28th, as well as events planned for Read Across America Day and Readathon fundraiser to begin the month of March. It is always great seeing our students so engaged in a variety of ways. Moyock Elementary School. MES is celebrating National Counselor Appreciation Week, taking time to appreciate none other than Miss Stephanie Cox. Next week is Love the Bus, in which our incredible bus drivers and bus monitors will be officially recognized. Then later this month, we will have our annual Boosterthon Fun Run event, in which students will learn about character traits while raising money for classroom and school enhancements. Moyock Middle School. Shout out to our wonderful school counselors, Ms. Joutu and Ms. Hillard, for their wonderful job with all they do for our students. We'll be showing our love and appreciation to our bus drivers and monitors this month as we participate in Love the Bus Week. Moyock Middle School will be hosting the AAC wrestling tournament this Saturday at the school. We wish our athletes all the best of luck. Sharborough Elementary School. It is Boosterthon Week at Sharborough. We are excited to say that we have surpassed our financial goal already this week and are still growing. Our fun run will be this Friday morning. Rain or shine, we have a plan. Since we met our goal, students will get to watch our principals, Ms. Nelson and Ms. Hayslip, get coated in slime as it gets dumped on their heads. Thank you to everyone who has already supported their favorite Mustang, and a huge shout out to the sponsors who purchased space on the back of our t-shirts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Albert and Daniel.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a lot of the schools are doing some really good things, a lot of activities and things to get involved in. All right, at this time, Mr. Adam Saparik, I pronounced that okay? All right, if he'll come to the podium and give us an update on our annual audit.
Yeah, my name is, again, Adam Saparik. I'm with Anderson Smith White, your independent audit firm, here to present the financial statements for the year ended June 30, 2021. I wanted to go over a couple pages in the statements and point out some key numbers and also some key reports found within in the statements. Page 1 of the financial statements are the independent auditor's report, which is essentially our opinion letter. The bottom of that page is the opinion paragraph, and it basically states that, in our opinion, the financial statements presented here accurately reflect the financial position, net position, and fund balance of Currituck County Schools as of June 30, 2021. This is what's considered a clean, unmodified opinion letter. Couple of some key financial numbers. Anytime we look at these statements, the main numbers we focus on are fund balance. Fund balance is the funds available to appropriate in future years. A lot of your funding, state and federal, are allocated by the state or the federal government and are brought down in allotments. So you basically spend the money and request reimbursement. You have set allotments that you either spend or lose, or they roll forward in the case of federal funds. But your local funds produce fund balance that you actually can carry over into future years. So page 13, Exhibit 3 is a balance sheet of your governmental funds. Now again, the state and federal funds don't carry fund balance, but your general, other special revenue, capital outlay, and individual schools each report a combined fund balance of $3,567,000 as of June 30, 2021. Some of the key components there: your general fund balance, $1,334,000. That's an increase of $530,000 from the previous year. That increase is due in part to savings recognized during by providing education services during a pandemic, some reduced transportation costs, reduced utilities from the virtual setting, as well as funds received from the federal government to help offset some of the costs of COVID. So you received two pots of money that you spent this year. Education stabilization funds totaling $438,000 were spent, and coronavirus relief funds totaling $418,000 was spent during the current year. That nearly $900,000 helped offset some of the cost of the pandemic and allowed for the cost savings and increase in fund balance in that general fund. Our firm does 65 school districts statewide, and I work on 17 of them, and nearly all of them are adding fund balance at this time. They're utilizing these federal funds to help offset that cost. They're recognizing the cost savings. There's also some involuntary cost savings in the form of vacancies that are helping add fund balance. The thought being that the fund balance that they're able to stack away and put away now will go towards helping the long-term cost of the pandemic, which would include technology resources that are going to be forever a part of education, summer schooling to help mediate children who may have fallen behind. So there's a long-term component to the pandemic that, when the federal funds run out, will become the responsibility of the school district. And so of the 17 districts I work on, all of them have saved and added to their fund balance anywhere from $200,000 to $10 million. So your $530,000 in the general fund is really in line with your relative size for fund balance added. So a really positive number there and in line with districts statewide. You also have $900,000 of fund balance in the other special revenue fund, of which $559,000 is really available for appropriating. That went up $458,000. So those two numbers, those two local funds, general and other special revenue, created a combined increase in fund balance of nearly $1 million. So again, a very positive financial position to be in the current year. We talked about this in depth at the committee meeting, but we've also talked about your fund balance over the last couple of years. You were in a very low fund balance position at the beginning of this year and the beginning of the previous year. So getting some breathing room, adding the $1 million, I think was definitely needed and a very positive note going forward. You also have $757,000 of fund balance in capital outlay and $571,000 in the individual schools. So page 15 is the income statement for those funds, and it shows, again, those same increases in fund balance. It also shows your total revenues and expenditures. Total revenues for the year were $46.9 million. Total expenditures, $45.7 million. You also had to fund child nutrition. You have these 6 governmental funds, but you also have a business type fund called the School Food Service Fund, basically your cafeterias, your lunches. That's a business type fund that operates by selling meals. And one of the difficult positions that a lot of districts have been in is how to serve meals in a pandemic, and even how to deliver meals to students who might not be in school. And so the federal government has enacted a summer feeding program that feeds all kids for free, but the offset of that is getting the participation needed with the kids that are in school to offset all the costs related, the salaries and cost of foods associated with operating that fund. So your fund has been in a cash strapped position for the last few years and has had to be funded locally. You actually had to transfer $246,000 of general fund revenue to child nutrition to fund operations, basically to pay some salaries and food costs. And so that is, again, a future burden that the general fund is going to have to account for when looking at what their fund balance is, and making sure that child nutrition has enough cash to just cash flow every month. When we look at Exhibit 7, page 21 of the statements, that's the balance sheet for that child nutrition fund, that school food service fund. Cash on hand as of June 30, 2021 is $133,000, which is essentially just 1 month of operation. That's really in line with the recommended guidelines for DPI. They want you to operate between 1 and 3 months. They'd love you to have 3 months of cash on hand, but really they see 1 month as a bare minimum. Prior to this, starting the year off, you had $11,000 in the bank. So going from $11,000 to $133,000 was really the bare minimum. So your child nutrition fund going forward, it's going to be a balancing act between getting participation up. And it'll be easier, obviously, with full in-person schooling. And again, that federal reimbursement rate is higher than in previous years. So there is an opportunity to make money here, but it boils down to participation and getting meals in front of kids. But that increase of $122,000 really just took you back to DPI's recommended minimum. There's also pages of financial statements here, or footnotes here, describing all your accounting policies, roll forwards of your assets, liabilities, descriptions of your budgeting, the information used to calculate pension and post-employment benefits, as well as a compliance section, which starts on page 62. So we had our opinion letter for the financial statements at page 1. Page 62 starts 3 letters, essentially opinion letters over internal controls, over financial reporting and compliance, and then a second letter over actual compliance with state requirements, and then a third letter, an opinion over compliance with federal requirements. You receive state and federal dollars through various programs. Every major program has to be audited at least once every 3 years. The State Public School Fund, which is the majority of your state funding, has to be audited every year. And so in auditing your State Public School Fund, your federal EC fund, and your federal education stabilization funds, which was your basically COVID-19 funds, as well as your CTE state program, we noted no findings, no exceptions, no question costs. So these 3 letters are essentially clean, unmodified opinions over compliance, and then also no significant deficiencies or material weaknesses over internal controls. So all in all, a positive audit report with positive increases in fund balance. One of the pages here also notes that the finding from last year's audit report related to time and effort reports on Title I was not repeated and corrected in the current year. So that's noted in the compliance section as well. That's really all I've got. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the hard work finance puts in preparing for the audit, dealing with the audit. It's a 10-month process from beginning to end. In fact, this week they received emails to start pulling information for the next year's audit. So, just presenting just in time to start all over again.
Start all over. Well, thank you so much for being here. And I just wanted the public to know that we did have a work session earlier today at 4 o'clock, and we were able to go over a lot of this information one-on-one with you. And I thank you for being here and traveling here tonight and sharing this information with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Etheridge?
Yes.
I'd just like to point out something that came up in our work session about the budget. This audit is through June 3rd, fiscal year that ended June 30, 21. And Susan, our finance officer, brought up the fact that it does show that we have a $757,000 fund balance and capital outlay, but the majority of the projects we do are done during the summer.
Right.
And I think she said, was it 114,000? 144,000 is the actual fund balance. So
Right.
I don't want people to think that we have a larger fund balance.
That, no, it's already been allocated out of that balance, and that would bring it down to 144,000.
Yeah, your district is heavily cyclical on capital outlay. You do a lot of work in the summer months with that. Some districts I see spreading out, but there's every year wading through invoices on when did this work occur. Was it before June 30 or after June 30? Is part of the audit, part of what management has to do to prepare for the audit, because there's a lot of activity that basically after July 4th starts happening at all your schools.
That's
So-
right. We have that short window of time where we get in and get a lot of things done. And so the money is already basically spent, I guess you could say.
Already spoken for.
Well, thank you again for being here.
As she pointed out, a lot of the projects were started before June 30th, but not finished until after July
Absolutely.
1.
Yep.
So the money was spent after July 1.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Facilities update, Dr. Matt Lutz.
All right. We'll wait to get our PowerPoint ready.
Okay.
We'll make sure we have facility updates each and every board meeting with as much growth as we have in the county, and with a solid plan enacted in cohort with our commissioners. We are going to keep keeping this at the forefront. The Mayock Elementary School project, go ahead and turn. It's freezing. It will not cooperate.
Technology.
Guess it only works on Thursday night. Okay, so, all right, so the Mayock Elementary project, the kindergarten building, the primary building is no longer with us. It was demolished over the course of the past week, and most of the debris has actually been hauled away already. We are getting ready to move forward with the partial demolition of the cafeteria, not the entire demolition. The crew that is setting up, they will actually wall off the part that we're going to save and begin the tear down for the remainder of the cafeteria. Things are moving forward as well with the Mayock Middle School project. Our permits and everything, we're not held up anywhere. We're running about 2 weeks behind the elementary school. And perhaps at our next meeting, we'll be able to show you a really neat time-lapse video of the Mayock Elementary primary building coming down. But things are moving forward. All of our, our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed, and we're excited to keep moving forward. The RFQ, request for qualifications for the new elementary school off of Tulls Creek Road, will close on February the 15th. That is a change from our last one. They extended that deadline out a little bit further based on some paperwork. That's where we're at currently.
Okay, well, thank you, Dr. Lutz. Yeah, we saw the video earlier at the work session,
Yeah,
And
it was half done on Friday afternoon, and then I finished up Monday morning. I went in to see that the excavator was sitting on top of the rubble.
the rubble and waiting for it to be hauled away, and so it's a very exciting time.
I believe Mr. Mullins said that they were getting ready to put up a bulletin or a board that was going to show the actual pictures.
Yes, yep, they're going to
And
show.
it's beautiful, so I'm looking forward to that.
They're going to have that at each school, right?
Yes, well, at the-
like a
at the two
rendering.
sites, yeah.
They'll have a rendering of the finished product so that the children, students, the parents, grandparents, everybody can see what the finished product's going to look like. And I think everybody will be impressed with what we're going to have.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm excited
Yeah.
because my parents went to school in Moyock Elementary. I went to school at Moyock Elementary, and I taught there for 25 years. So it was bittersweet seeing that come down, but the beautiful rendition of what they're going to do, I'm just really excited about it. I
Yeah.
think it's going to be pretty.
okay, yeah, let's.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, let's play it. Maybe.
Now it's frozen again.
Also note that when we talked about at the work session, all the tremendous work Moyock Middle Cafeteria is doing, feeding the Moyock Elementary School
Yes.
kids, and what a great job that our nutrition department's doing, and working all the staff at Moyock Middle to make sure all the kids at Moyock Middle and Moyock Elementary are getting fed.
You
So
say like 1,200?
I think it was
kids?
1,200.
We have 680 students currently enrolled in Mayock Elementary and a little over 600 at the middle school. And we're making food for almost 700 students and sending it across from Mayock Middle School to Mayock Elementary. Brandy Kelly and her team have a squad that they have the system down. They get the food delivered to the rooms. And the cooperation at Mayock Elementary throughout this process has been just top notch and positive.
And it has been a lot on them, on the cafeteria folks, on the teachers. There goes duty-free lunch for the whole year because they're in their classroom with their students. So, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
And
They're working together.
Working together.
And it's yeah, they're class act.
They really are.
Oh, there we are.
Well, it'll show you
Just pictures.
It will not play the video.
Okay.
Oh,
It's
okay.
on the little screen if anybody can see it from that little teeny distance.
I have a picture of.
Takes a year to build it and a day to tear it down.
That's right. Yeah, they said within 24 hours, right, that it
Yeah.
was. It was down. Okay, well, thank you very much. Overnight field trips, field requests and trips.
Okay, so this past weekend, our women's wrestling team traveled to Greensboro, North Carolina for an invitational meet. We also had the swimming regionals in Cary, North Carolina this past weekend. And this upcoming weekend, we have the state swim meet, which we will have multiple participants at.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Virginia Arrington, if you'll come forward. I never can see you. The podium's always in the way of your beautiful,
No, she
beautiful
sits right
face.
back there.
I think she hides from
From
it.
every month.
Welcome. If you'd like to give us an update concerning our mask in school.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know that you can see this. Okay. So again, quickly reviewing information. August 23rd to September 2nd, masks were required. September 7th to October 1st, we went to, mask optional. Thank you.
Reverse.
we knew what you meant.
Reverse. Okay, let me start again. Sorry, it's been a long day. All right, August 23rd to September 2nd was mask optional. Then September 7th through October 1st, we reverted to mask required. But again, we were going over the number of days quarantine from those contact tracing and exposures. So here's the dates since then where we were mask required. And you can see of note here, as we assumed would happen, we had a spike after Christmas. And so those numbers there, the 101 positives and the 114 positives with the quarantines that went along with that. And then from January 21st to February 4th, that's a longer period of time there. We had 129 positives and 53 quarantines. So to look at that visually, again, you can see the spike right after Christmas, but now the numbers are starting to go down again as far as the positivity rate and the quarantines. And while this is not on the chart, this week, just including Monday through Wednesday, we've had 16 positives and 8 quarantines. But again, the trend is going down.
Thank you. All right, do I have any questions for Ms. Arrington at this time? Do I have a motion from the floor?
I have a motion. I was just looking at messages received from Dr. Lutz and trying to find that last one, like I believe it was yesterday. Was it today? Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone down substantially. The number of cases, the number of quarantines. We've all, I think, been for masks to be optional, but we had an uptick in cases, so we couldn't do it when we wanted to do it. But with that being said, I would like to make a motion that we make mask optional, that we try it again, beginning on Monday, February the 14th. And if we have a positivity rate, if it rises above 1%, for 2 consecutive weeks, or if we have a cluster that's been identified and reported to the Albemarle Regional Health System, then at an individual school, then that individual school will shift back to a mask-required environment for 10 school days.
Now, you're saying 1% at any individual school or district-wide, or?
District-wide.
Well, I was really thinking at an individual school.
Individual school.
Individual school is
Okay.
what I would.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll second the motion. That way we can,
Okay.
we can discuss.
All right, I have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion? Ms. Kraft?
I just think, we were ready to do this in December, and we had, we went with it, and now I just think it's time. I just think we have to move forward, and if we have big numbers, then we'll have to emergency meet or whatever. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to go back to the numbers.
But I think we need to understand, parents need to understand that more than ever, it's always been this way, but if you're sick, stay home.
If you're sick, your child's
Absolutely.
sick,
If you're
we
sick,
need to
stay
all
home.
work together. If your child is sick or showing any symptoms, whether you think it's allergies, sinus, whatever you think it may be, err on the side of caution, and just keep them home. And
Get a test.
yeah, if you want to get a home test, test them, and go from there. But what I was saying earlier, I think what's happening is now the numbers are skewed. There's no numbers that are accurate any longer. What people are doing, and they're going to Walgreens or wherever, getting a home test, they're testing positive. They're not doing the right thing. They can't afford maybe to take 5 days off or 10 days, so they're going to their jobs. It's going round and round. And so they're not reporting to the county health department. So that number's not even in the equation. And I think that's what we're seeing. And I think with our numbers going down, I'm all for let's start this again, mask optional. I would be in favor of that, but we need to keep a close eye on it at each individual school. And if we see that there is an uptick, then we need to bring it back in and wear masks for a little while longer until we see those numbers decrease.
And I think that we're at a place too, it's, we know that it's different variants now. It's different than 2 years ago. I know it seems from people I've talked to and from experience, children are seeming to do very well with it. So we're not dismissing that it's out there or anything like that, and we're just going to keep a close eye on it. But I do think, as you know, we do need to be, I know parents, it's stressful when your kid is sick and you're worrying about them being out for days, but in order for this to stay in effect, the accountability has to be put back on parents and families.
Yes.
And for the, middle school and high school kids, they are old enough to understand the repercussions if they go to school sick. And students, tell your friends at school and spread the word. They have to do their part. Even if they do come to school because they have something, then put the mask on. If they think they're coming down with something, take a mask and put it on. But I do think we have to, take accountability. We have to start teaching our kids and, like you said, get back into it. But
And anyone
we will
can wear
keep
a mask.
close eye.
You can still wear a mask.
Right,
if that's what you
absolutely,
want.
but
Yeah.
Be responsible.
Right, we have to be responsible, but we do want us to move forward, and so.
Are we still doing the weekly or biweekly spraying with
Yes, we continue to have every building sanitized.
once a week?
Once a week.
Okay.
And I wanted to tell you also, Mr. Jason Smith, he's been here a couple times at the meetings. He texted me earlier tonight, and he was hoping that we would go to mask optional. He wasn't able to be here. His son had a game, but he was hoping that we would go to mask optional as well.
Well, is Miss Arrington going to be responsible for, the percentage at each school?
Her eyes got this big.
We have kept, as we all know, we have kept our schools open throughout the majority of the pandemic, and with great pride that we've kept our kids in person as much as possible. Because of that, we have learned a great deal. We certainly have a system down to track and monitor and watch. Virginia does a great job communicating with the nurses, and we make sure that we get that information gathered at the end of each day, and we monitor it closely. And if we need to move off of this decision tonight and need to have a meeting, and if we see our numbers spike, we'll gather quickly and respond as we have throughout this time period.
Now, I read, talking about the contact tracing and putting it on the health department, I read that we are required to work with the health department. They make us do this. They will not do it for us. No.
In each health department, and that's some of the confusion throughout, or some of why one place looks different than another, is different counties are managed by different health departments. We have had an excellent relationship with Battle Betts and his department throughout this. He's been very communicative and very supportive. But each region, each county will have different directives and how their health departments make that determination. And that does add to some of the confusion.
And there is a link in the Strong Schools Toolkit that talks about a contact tracing plan that you put together in partnership with the health department.
And we will still have to continue wearing masks on the bus.
On the buses.
because
I was
that's a
just getting
federal
ready to say
thing.
that. Yeah.
That's correct.
That's federal.
We'll make sure that we provide very clear communication to our families regarding the decision tonight, and make sure that we note the bus, and this is optional. It does not mean that you don't, that it means that you can wear a mask or you cannot wear a mask. And we'll work on the clarifying guidelines when we push this
You're
out.
riding the bus. You have to wear a mask.
A bus, you have to ride a bus, or you have to ride a bus if
With a mask.
with a mask, and you're going to ride the bus.
And you're going to ride the bus.
I'd like to add something really quick. One thing I'd like to say, I think it is the right time, to at least give it a try in our schools. But, I say this on behalf of all the students within the county, is the fact that, students really do want to be at school. They're not willing to miss out on pep rallies, sports, different events. So, I just want to urge everyone on our board, parents and students, to just, really keep that in mind, and, the health and safety of our students, but also them having a great experience as the guiding beacon throughout this time. Yep, just wanted to add that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
All right, we have a first.
And we have
We have a second. Any further discussion?
I was just going to respond to Daniel. So to put this in perspective, Daniel's a senior, and so is Albert. This is their first normal year since they were freshmen.
Right.
And so we recognize that, and you've had as close to something normal as possible. We want to continue
Your
that.
freshman year, you went the whole year. Yes. And your sophomore year, you left in March. Wow.
So students, they're just really excited to be back, and I just want to continue that for the time that we have. Yeah,
Thank you.
of course.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, we have a first, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Rose.
The start date will
February
14th.
14th.
Valentine's Day.
All right.
Means they can kiss their girlfriends without a mask on.
But not in school.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Information items. We have our work session, March 15th, 2022. We'll have that at the Knapp Professional Learning Center, and that's going to be starting at 4 p.m. And then we will have our regularly scheduled meeting here, March 15th at 6:30 p.m. Board members and superintendent comments. Dr. Dobney, if you'd like to start us off.
Sure. First, I'd like to congratulate Miss Zach of Currituck County High School, who won the girls' state championship in wrestling.
Yay.
Next, I would like our board to start a grassroots effort. I'm tired of talking about getting a vocational education track, and then we get nowhere with a state board. I would like our board to come up with a joint resolution similar to what Mr. Currituck showed us, except it would be for getting a vocational education track put back in, to the possible diploma routes in North Carolina. And I'd also like not only that resolution, but I'd like, Dr. Lutz, when he meets with the district superintendents, to take a copy of this resolution with him and see if we can get other boards of education to join in with us. And then, who's the head of the State Superintendents Association?
Jack Hoke.
Yeah, if you could get Jack Hoke involved in this, because this is, it's just, to me, plain ridiculous that we don't have a vocational education track. And look what our students who finish like in HVAC, electrical, plumbing, they could be making a lot of money just here in Currituck with all the new building that's going on. And they're missing out on that opportunity. And, Renee spoke before about students that have dropped out that could benefit from a vocational education track.
Probably get the county commissioners.
Oh, yeah.
To,
Get them to join with us.
Join with us. That'd be great. I think one of them's back there in the back with his head down.
I think that's a wonderful idea. We've been talking about it for a long time, Dr. Dobney, and I would love to see us put that in place. So whatever it takes, let's move forward with it.
Really, and they don't seem to want the state board doesn't seem to want to listen to individuals or individual school districts, because we met with the state superintendent of public instruction about this. When was that, Renee? Was that like 3 years ago?
Probably 3 or 4 years ago.
And we talked with Senator Steinberg, and he's on board with it.
I know. Well, we ought to get some, senators, legislators.
I'm sure
I think
Bobby
we need
Hannock.
to get the surrounding counties, because I know they're all for it.
Sure.
So, with the numbers that we have and the people that are on board with it, I think we all just need to unite and make it happen. But I love your idea, grassroots effort. I think we need to maybe start it off, and whatever we need to do, let's go ahead and do it.
Oh, sure, because I want our
Community, look how it would benefit all the contractors, like you said here, who could use the students as, help and to teach them as well. So
Oh, yeah,
it
they
would
could
be something to
have
help
a
everybody.
meaningful trade where they could make a good deal of money, and they wouldn't have any student debt loans to pay.
Yeah.
No, I really don't have any figures, and this is just speculation, but from talking with some folks that are in the trades and talking with some folks that have 4-year degrees, I don't know that when you look at the average, if you've got the trade certification, I don't know if you're not financially making more, then
Well, I
with-
can promise you, if you're teaching or if you're plumbing, you're making more plumbing.
I mean, it's, a good way to support your family, I think.
It is.
Really?
Miss Kraft?
Wait,
Yes.
I'm not done yet.
He's not
Oh.
done.
He's not
That's
done.
not like you.
Unless you want me to be done.
His time up last month, so he's
No,
good.
that's right. That's
Okay.
right.
And I would also like to announce what one of our students has received, and student's name is Rylan Pay. He graduated from J.P. Knapp Early College. He was a valedictorian, and he has been offered a full scholarship in nuclear science for a doctoral program at MIT. And I don't think that's ever happened to a student before.
That's
great. That's
And he's a great kid.
Oh, yeah.
He's got the best personality.
Yeah.
And just a real well-rounded
Oh, he is.
young man. All right.
Now I'm
Are you
finished.
finished? I was not going to say a word. I was just going to wait.
I know, I was waiting.
All right, Miss Kraft.
So I want to, again, give a big appreciation to all of our school counselors. I see them in action, and they're doing a wonderful job, and I very much appreciate them. Also to the Knights of Columbus and Pauline Wright for the money that they're contributing to our special education program. And I want to congratulate all the Currituck County High School sports teams, because I would not dare try to mention one, because I can't think of one that's not going leaps and bounds. In fact, the high school basketball team is playing right now. So anyway, I want to congratulate them. And it was bittersweet to see the building, the kindergarten building, come down at Moyock. But I think when I talked with the people there at the school that were there, most of them were as upset about the tree coming down as they were the building, because we all remembered when that tree was planted, and Mr. Dennis Snow planted that tree, and we for in memory or in special recognition of someone. We can't remember the someone, but we remember Mr. Dennis Snow. So yeah. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing it be bigger and better.
Well, thank you, Miss Kraft. Miss Peters?
Yes, and to go forward with I appreciate all the school counselors for all they do. I know that's been a job that the job description has certainly probably changed a lot in the past 2 years, so we thank them for all they do. And as someone mentioned, next week's Bus Appreciation Week, so thank you to all of our bus drivers and the transportation department, because I know that's a challenging job. Today, earlier, we had our student Board of Education interviews, and I just wanted to congratulate all of them. They all did a great job. They certainly had wonderful things. I take it very seriously. Each of them all said positive things about their experiences here in Currituck County, their teachers, the staff. So I just think that's really important, and I hope if any of them are listening, they know they did a great job, and it's a really hard decision, but good luck. And then we visited Charborough Elementary today, Ms. Kraft and I, and it was just, they are just so engaged. They were doing math. They were out in the hallways, coloring, working on their banners for the booster-thon. Everyone, it was a really good day seeing them all work hard. And as we move forward, with the mask mandate, like we've all said during discussion, I really want to put a lot of emphasis on, parents and holding everyone accountable, because it's going to be a community effort to keep us in school. And as, for Daniel's senior year in Albert, we don't want to mess it up. So we want to make sure, we're going to watch it. And thanks, Ms. Arrington, for all of her hard work.
Yes.
And thank you for our plant from
Yes.
the FFA.
Yes.
Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Miss Peters. Miss Rose?
Okay, well, I too want to give a shout out to our school counselors. I know that they are a very valuable part of our school teams. We have so many reasons to be proud here in Currituck, as I hear and see about all the wonderful things going on. The students are raising money through running to benefit their school. I mean, I think that's awesome. I know we've had a lot of athletes that have competed in regional and state. I know our cheerleaders won the state, I believe, the state competition. We've got other student swimmers going on to state competitions this week, and we're proud of all of them. We've got 2 students in the running for the Park Scholarship at NC State University, and we're very proud of them too. Dr. Seuss's birthday is coming up March 1st, and that makes me think of the importance of reading. So I'd like to challenge all of our parents to read aloud with their children. I think it's just so important. And I'd like to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day.
Well, thank you, Miss Rose. All right, Dr. Lutz.
All right. Well, before I get to some acknowledgments, I wanted to just bring an update to the accreditation timeline that is part of our strategic plan for the district. We have completed our school self-evaluation needs assessment, and under the direction of Dr. Durham at the high school, the school improvement team will meet to review that self-assessment this Friday. I will then file a letter with the Department of Public Instruction prior to the end of the month, and then wait back to hear from them. They may pay a visit, they may say everything's in order, but it's our first step towards moving for accreditation for our comprehensive high school. JP Knapp is already accredited, and this will be our first step towards the other high school. I wanted to bring that update to the board. There's been a lot, so it's the swim team, the track team, the wrestling team are all headed to states or regionals. We wish them the best. We've mentioned the bus, and again, our bus drivers have been amazing throughout this pandemic. They keep coming back, and the department under Jimmy Calvert is being creative on getting more people on board as well. Many thanks have already been given. I'd like to again thank the community for the support of our schools. I appreciate the dedication of our staff to continue to make sure that our doors are open and our kids get a quality education. And it really was nice to hear from our board members that had applied that they really, when they were asked what could we improve, they said, we just really enjoy the opportunities we have here in Currituck. And that was a great thing to hear. And so again, I appreciate, we'll make sure we communicate effectively the mask update, and we'll get that out sometime in the next 48 hours.
All right, thank you. And I would just like to close by thanking our community. You know, I watch other districts and their Board of Education meetings, and it scares me to death, to be honest with you. And I want to thank the community, everybody that's on staff at all of our schools, for your understanding, for your patience, for your professionalism during the past 2 years, during a time in our lives that was basically unthinkable. We're certainly not out of the woods yet, but I'm hoping and praying that the severity of this virus is diminishing. And I just thank you for not showing up at our meetings, making it a hostile environment for us. As I've said before, we've got some tough decisions, still have some tough decisions to make. There's not a right or wrong answer in any scenario. We're just doing the best we can as elected officials for Currituck County. We're just trying to do the right thing, and sometimes that upsets certain people, and just know that we're trying to look out for the kids. That's who we're trying to look out for. So I'm looking forward to mask optional. I hope and pray that it'll work, and that we can get back to where we need to be. And I just want to thank everybody for their understanding, and it really means a lot to this board to be able to have conversations and not have people lined up here in the courtroom ready to just blast us one after another, and that goes a long way. And I appreciate all the emails, the text messages, the phone calls that I've received, and thank you for being behind the board. It really means a lot. And at this time, I would like to Ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
We adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Have a first and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Have a good night. Safe travels.